Two historic programs, one of them under the radar for the last 20 years, the other one on top of the world. Could this be the turn of an era? Will Texas denounce themselves as back with a huge Week 2 win against the Alabama Crimson Tide? Or will Nick Saban silence the doubters and dominate the Longhorns in an early season showcase for his 2023 ball club? Both teams have aspirations to not only win their respective conference, but to win the national championship. This Week 2 game will bolster the argument for one of these teams. Who will it be? Stick around to hear our thoughts.
Welcome back to Clash of Cultures. As we continue along with our 2023 college football preview, we take a look at the Alabama-Texas rematch from 2022, where Alabama was a 21-point favorite and only ended up winning by one after Quinn Ewers went down. We're hoping that this is a good game as well. That's obviously why we're previewing it today. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Today's comment of the day, there's going to be two of them. It's from Mitchell Langler294. He says, "Go Seminoles." And then Mike Myrick 1458 says, "Go Noles, hashtag Mike got us." So both of those videos came from the LSU Florida State preview. So those of you guys who have not watched that, make sure you guys go watch that. That's our most viewed video on the channel at so far. Hopefully this one kind of surpasses that. But with all that being said, Dad, how do you feel about this game? And I'm almost positive we have different winners. So this is going to be a fun one to do. But who do you got in this game?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game. If you guys remember last year, like Steven said, came down to a 1-point game. Quinn Ewers went down. Alabama did a good job of stopping Bijan Robinson. But between Hudson Card and Quinn Ewers, Texas was able to move the ball a little bit through the air. Very close game. Like I said, it came down last minute. Alabama was able to get a touchdown and pull this out. This game, I think Texas actually has more coming back. Again, when we talk about Quinn Ewers, we could talk about Worthy. So I like where Texas is as they come into this. Jonathan Brooks is taking the place of Bijan. That is the biggest concerning part there is can Texas find a way to replace the 1,500 plus yards that Bijan Robinson added to this offense. However, I think you're going to see, as I mentioned during the Texas preview video, that Quinn Ewers is going to take a bigger part in this offense, and they're going to throw the ball for much more yards. So he was just a little bit over 2,000 yards last year, not much over. I think he's going to be really about a 3,000, 3,500 yard quarterback this year, which I think can replace much of the yardage they're going to lose from Bijan. And then, like I said, Brooks can hopefully make up for some of the rest, probably about 1,000-yard rusher. For Alabama, it's a different story. Again, Alabama's the home of 5 stars. I think they've been in the top 3 in recruiting rankings just about every year in the last 5-10 years. Yes, so while they did lose a lot, they have been able to retool. We're going to see a lot about Alabama's ability to retool. And as I mentioned with when we talked about Georgia in the Georgia-Tennessee video, I have to give Nick Saban the benefit of the doubt. He's done this so many times. So can he get Jalen Milroe to play with the same efficiency, to play with the same pizzazz as Bryce Young? Can they replace what they lost in the running game? Can they be that Alabama defense that we're used to seeing without Will Anderson coming off the edge? Yes, players like Dallas Turner are back, and again, another host of 5-star recruits. And Alabama's Alabama, and I don't think they're ever just going to. I don't think the bottom is ever just going to fall out again. Remember, this was a 2-loss team last year, and we all consider that a disappointing season. So this is, I suspect, going to be a great game. I think Texas is on the rise. Texas was a prominent team in the early 2000s, and they just had a long period where they were not in the race. I think they are back on the upward trajectory. And Alabama's Alabama, and it's just a matter of, can Alabama be that team that we suspect them to be? Heavily in the national championship picture, heavily in the SEC picture. Is this team able to reload? I think that's what this is going to come down to. What's your thoughts?
So when I look at this matchup, those of you guys who watch the most overrated, underrated video, I had Texas as one of the most overrated teams coming to the year, and I had Alabama as one of the most underrated. So you obviously know where I'm going with my pick here. I think Alabama's going to win this game convincingly. I don't think it's going to be as close as a lot of people think it's going to be. Again, inside that overrated, underrated video, I talked about how Texas had like the 5th or 6th best odds, tied with another team to win the national championship. I just don't see that. I think when you look at what happened last year, obviously this is two different teams, but they held Bijan Robinson to less than 60 yards on 20 carries. So that's going to be big for them if their defense can step up again. And obviously the running back they have now, Jonathan Brooks, is nowhere near the amount of talent that Bijan Robinson had. Again, we don't really know because they're going to bring back a veteran offensive line. You bring back Quinn Ewers still bring back Xavier Worthy. Everything on defense. But Bijan Robinson was still the heart and soul of that team. It was their do-it-all guy on offense. So not having him, I think, is going to be very impactful. And obviously, on the other side of things, when you look at Alabama, the quarterback situation is the glaring discrepancy there. Nick Saban just at SEC Media Day said there's not one quarterback has kind of taken the reins of the team yet, which is concerning given that we only have a month left before the season starts. Yeah. So we don't really know how that's going to pan out. But those of you guys who have been here know how I feel about Jalen Milroe. And I think if he's the starter, I think this team can go to the playoffs. And to be honest, I think if Buckner or Ty Simpson starts, they can go to the playoffs. Like I said before, they had Blake Sims, they had McElroy the years past. Those were not gunslinging quarterbacks who, were Heisman type players, but they were able to get the job done and get to the national championship stage. So I don't think they need a top guy like Bryce Young in order to compete for natties. They could do it with pretty much anybody, controlling the offense and kind of managing the offense. But I think with Milroe's athleticism and overall talent, football talent, I think that would be their best choice to start at quarterback. I don't think he needs to throw the ball all downfield. They can go back to the more run-heavy type offense, option, RPO, stuff like that, and they'll be just as successful. Like you said, Dad, I think Nick Saban has proven himself to kind of retool and rebuild rather than – I would say retool and reload, rather than a rebuild. They've never been in a really rebuilding stage. 6 national championships, 7, however many he has with them in the last, 15, 20 years. So I really look at this as a kind of not historical aspect, but more so of like, I just trust Alabama more. I don't trust Texas. I get last year, they really should have won if they wouldn't have lost Quinn Ewers, but I think it was an anomaly. I don't think it's going to happen again. I think with it being at Bryant-Denny Stadium this year is going to be completely different. 100,000 rabid Alabama fans. So, I truly think that it's going to – I'm not going to say it's going to get ugly. I don't think it's going to be a 25, 30-point win, but I expect them to win by double digits, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. I would be very surprised if Texas wins this game, just because, like I said, Alabama is Alabama to me. I've had the utmost respect for them. Obviously, I'm a Clemson fan. We've played them 3 or 4 times in the playoffs, 3 times in the national championship game alone. So just knowing how they, like I said, reload and how Nick Saban's able to get the most out of his team no matter who's on the field, I just think that they're going to be too much for them. I think when they play against the LSU, that game is going to be a lot tougher than this game will. And I don't know how good this game's actually going to be.
Yeah, so again, going back to that overrated, underrated, I think I had Alabama as overrated, with all due respect to Nick Saban. And Alabama has some pieces I like. Jalen Milroe, I think we have to like his athleticism. I think we're going to see what he is as a passer. Jace McClellan was actually a pretty good runner last year, and matched Gibbs for touchdowns. Probably with those extra carries would have been 1,000-yard rusher. So it's not like the cupboard's bare. I just like Texas a little bit more, especially when we talk about bringing back 5 starting offensive linemen. To me, that's a big deal to have consistency along the offensive line. And I think Quinn Ewers, just from a talent standpoint, could be one of the most talented quarterbacks. Again, if you remember, number 1 recruit in his recruiting class, 100 grade on 24/7, seems to have all the arm talent in the world. So with another year under Sarkisian, I think you're going to see an upward step for him. Yes, they lost Bijan, but again, if we look back at this game and we look back at Alabama defense, like you said, Bijan really didn't get off. 20 carries, under 60 yards. So it's not like they have to rely on the running game. But Worthy is a monster. He's going to be a problem. 9 touchdowns last year. And Jordan Withington, their second receiver. So they're bringing back really their top 2 receivers, and then their third receiver is Jatavion Sanders, the tight end. He's also coming back. So their weapons on the outside, they're basically returning everybody. Not to say Alabama's going to be down on defense, but I like this consistency. I like the fact that Texas is going to be in this same system for a second year. Like I said, outside of Bijan, seem to be returning a lot of their key players on offense. And I think that's what it's going to take to win this game. So, like I said earlier, I got Texas winning this game.
Can you give me a prediction, like a score prediction?
Oh, I think it's going to be close. As I pick Texas again, I think I'm going to go 28-24 Texas. But like I said, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think this is going to come down to Quinn Ewers' ability. And again, he's in a lot of cases, and I think you had him third, or the list you were looking at had him third in the Heisman race.
Something like that. I think.
I think people are expecting that leap from him as a quarterback this year. I think this is an early start to what could be a Heisman campaign. I think he's going to have a Heisman moment to help Texas pull away or go ahead late in the game. So 28-24 Texas.
Okay, so you have 28-24 Texas. Before I give my prediction, I know we talked about Xavier Worthy. They did bring over A.D. Mitchell as well from Georgia. So he's probably going to get some good PT for them, Texas that is. But I think to kind of offset Worthy, Alabama do have one of the best corners in the country with Kool-Aid. So I think, I don't know if he'll shadow him or if he'll follow him throughout the game. But he's a great corner. So I don't know how much Worthy would be able to kind of do with him on him. But they do have, like you said, they do have A.D. Mitchell as well. So we'll just have to see. But to give my prediction, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, what we saw last year with Alabama and how they were able to slow down Bijan Robinson, I think they're going to be able to do the same thing. But I think with the lack of experience on the offensive side for Alabama, I think they're not going to be able to put as many points up as well. So I'm going to have it 23-14. So that's where I'm going to have it, 23-14. You had Alabama scoring 24, so right around the same. But that is our prediction for the Alabama-Texas game. Those of you guys who are new to the channel, please do us a favor, subscribe. We're creeping up on 800 subscribers. Like I said, in videos past, we're going to be doing another giveaway at 1,000, giving away another signed jersey. And lastly, I got the trivia. So the trivia for you today is, can you name the team in the Big 12 that has never been to a New Year's Six game or a BCS game?
In the Big 12, never. Okay, say that again.
They've never been to like the BCS National Championship, and they've never been to a New Year's Six bowl game.
Any sort of New Year's Six game.
Any sort of New Year's Six game. There's only one team in the Big 12.
Kansas?
No.
It's not Kansas. Iowa State?
No.
No. Kansas is like the worst team. It wouldn't be Baylor.
Nope. It is a Texas school.
Texas Tech?
Texas Tech.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Texas Tech has had some good years. They had the Pat Mahomes years. They had the Michael Crabtree years.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
They've never been to New Year's Six or a BCS.
That was a good one.
So lastly, before we head out, guys, last 2 videos ago, we did a trivia and we had the comment section. The first person who answered the trivia was able to choose tomorrow's video, which is going to be Oregon State versus Washington. So we have another trivia question coming to you guys right now. So those of you guys who stuck to the end of the video, lucky for you, because you'll be able to answer it and choose our next preview for Wednesday. So Dad, go ahead. What is the comment section's trivia for today?
All right, as you guys probably know, there are some rivalry games where some form of trophy is given to the victor every year, and it'll change hands back and forth. So what we're going to ask, what my question is for a rivalry game, what is the trophy that is given? The rivalry game I'm looking for is the Ole Miss Mississippi State game. What trophy is given to the winner of the Ole Miss Mississippi State game?
Alrighty, and the first one to answer that question down below in the comment section, I will respond back to you guys, and then I will ask you guys what preview you want to see for Wednesday or Thursday's video. So make sure you guys stick along with us, hit the notification bell, comment as well so you can be comment of the day, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.